students by instituting a course on his books, like that. So this was from this letter. There are some more very interesting letters on here. Can you continue, Mataji? Priyanka, yeah. You have to unmute.
Next January, there will be an examination on this Bhagavad Gita. Papers will be sent by me to all centers, and those securing the minimum passing grade will be given the title of Bhakti Shastri. Similarly, another examination will be held on Lord Chaitanya's appearance day in Feb 1970, and it will be upon Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Those passing will get the title of Bhakti Vaibhav. Another examination will be held sometime in 1971 on the 4 books Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and the Nectar of Devotion. One who will pass the examination will be awarded with the title of Bhaktivedanta. I want all of my spiritual sons and daughters will inherit this title of Bhaktivedanta so that the family transcendental diploma of Bhaktivedanta will continue through the generations.
See, Srila Prabhupada wants all his spiritual sons and daughters, the grandsons, granddaughters, everyone in the parampara. This was a very great desire of our parampara to spread Lord Chaitanya's mercy, which is coming in the form of these wonderful spiritual holy books, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Nectar of Devotion. So early in the moment, Prabhupada is thinking to make the course. Just see the vision of our founder Acharya. The letter doesn't end here. Little more is there. It's more interesting. Please read ahead.
Yes, yeah. Those possessing the title of Bhakti Vedanta will be allowed to initiate disciples. Maybe by 1975, all of my disciples will be allowed to initiate and increase the number of generations. This is my program. So we should not simply publish these books for reading by outsiders, but our students must be well versed in all of our books so that we can be prepared to defeat all opposing parties in the matter of self-realization.
So, Srila Prabhupada told, actually it will come later also, he made this primarily these 4 courses. It's going to come ahead. Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Sarvabhaum. And he told what should be studied in each of these 4 courses. And he also told how the examination should be conducted, what type of examination should be conducted, and what kind of services should be given to that specific course completed devotees. Like here he's telling someone at the level of Bhakti Vedanta, which is very advanced course, which actually is a very systematic, thorough study of Bhagavatam, they will be even allowed to initiate disciples. Here it is told. So, like this was the vision of our Srila Prabhupada on why this course, how this course, and what should be the services which the certain specific devotees who have completed the courses should take up. And here he says some more quotes. Balrashpu, can you read this?
I want you leaders especially to become absorbed in the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and become yourselves completely convinced and free from all doubt. On this platform, you shall be able to carry on the work satisfactorily. But if there is a lack of knowledge or if there is forgetfulness, everything will be spoiled in the time. So especially you must encourage the students to read our books throughout the day as much as possible and give them all good advice how to understand the books and inspire them to study the things from every point of view. Better to boil the milk very vigorously and to make it thick and sweet. That is the best progress. So let us concentrate on training our devotees very thoroughly in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness from our books, from tapes, by discussing always, and in so many ways instruct them in the right proposition.
So Srila Prabhupada is telling here that when leaders study these books very thoroughly, they become absorbed in the study, that it gives them conviction, complete conviction, and they can guide their followers, they can In fact, spread this message without any doubt and with that strong conviction. So, in the movement, in the very beginning days, many people came because it was very new, especially when it was started in West. It was everything was new. So they were coming and they wanted to experience this novelty of this Krishna consciousness, the chanting, the services, everything, deity worship, all that. And after some time, they started to wonder, question. They wanted to, in fact, sometimes they got distracted also. And Srila Prabhupada, noticing all this, he thought the devotees should be, in fact, rooted, well rooted in the philosophy. For that, he wrote this letter. This is a very important letter in 1972, Prabhupada is writing. He says here, very important example, boiling the milk. You see, milk. We know that the raw milk, when taken from cow, it stays for a day. When you boil and keep, if you boil it very nicely, it can stay for a little longer time. Pasteurization, whatever people do it. So, what is happening to the milk by boiling process? What is happening by the boiling of milk? Yeah,
It becomes thick.
Condensed.
becomes condensed. And it also, that natural sweetness which was there, it becomes more experienceable. It becomes very easily tastable, is it not? So it becomes thick, it becomes sweet, it becomes durable more, is it not? So all this Prabhupada is comparing with the growth of devotional service in the life of a practicing devotee. So boiling the milk, it may appear that the milk quantity is getting reduced, but actually the quality of that milk has increased multiple times. It has become thick, it has become sweet, and it is long durable more. So Prabhupada is saying that is the best progress. So in the path of sadhana bhakti, reading of shastras is very foundational. Yeah, we will learn this very profoundly in Nectar of Devotion, that in the sadhana bhakti, when the conditioned soul, like all of us, we don't have very spontaneous desire to serve Krishna. We don't have that attraction towards Krishna and his devotees, like that. Then we understand that yes, there are certain instructions given by Supreme Lord in the form of Shastras. When I study them, it makes really a great benefit effect on my life. So one understands those instructions and follow devotional service on the strength of those instructions of Shastra and the words of Guru. Guru is also speaking Shastra, is it not? So sadhana bhakti is that devotional service at which a conditioned soul who is not having that attraction towards Lord for service, he continues to render devotional service on the strength of the scriptures, on the strength of the words of Guru. So, in this stage of bhakti, which is the beginning stage of development of prema, reading of scriptures is very foundational. It is like uncompromisable in that sense. So Srila Prabhupada is pointing that it is the best progress that we train devotees to understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. And he says it, how to do it: by books, by hearing lectures on tape, by discussions. In this way, there should be growth in understanding of devotees. So Prabhupada is writing this letter that how by reading his books, one personally becomes more convinced of the philosophy. The doubts, he becomes free from the doubt. Earlier we saw the purpose of this course or study of books. The purpose was, what was that purpose, if you remember? Earlier he told a different purpose, Prabhupada.
Preaching.
Preaching, right? That was more in terms of giving out, is it not? But now here we are seeing how it helps a person's individual practice and develop that conviction, freedom from doubts and distractions, all that. Prabhupada's words are very, very inspiring. Balraj Prabhu, can you please?
Brahmanas means they are teachers. So every temple should be an educational center, and the Brahmana should be engaged. They should be properly educated and they should teach others also. In this way, temple means education in spiritual life.
Ah, this has been the vision in Vedic culture always, but over a period of time, the focus gets lost. But Srila Prabhupada kept it very upfront. Temple means education. Temple means educational centers. It is not just a place where one goes, rings bell, just offers some pranam, some donation, and then he goes back, or maybe takes some prasad and he leaves. No, in fact, Prabhupada wanted that there should be Krishna Katha, there should be association of devotees available for the visitors. So this was very, very profound vision of Prabhupada, which he kept it always in front. So here he is telling temple means education. And who can give education? Those who have learned Shastra, they can. Is it not? So Prabhupada is telling here Brahmanas who are by nature teachers, and they should be taught first of all. So, and they can impart that education. So Prabhupada tells in his 7 aims of his Khan, he has drafted all this, that the very first one, it says this, to systematically train and educate. That's how it starts. So education and training is one of the foremost purposes of our movement, and for that one should undergo this education, the course, the systematic study. So Srila Prabhupada instituted these 4 courses, as I was briefing in the beginning. So Bhakti Shastri course, the beginning course, it comprises of Sri Ishopanishad, Bhagavad Gita, nectar of instruction, and nectar of devotion. And there are details of each of those books which we will delve later. Bhakti Vaibhava is study of Srimad Bhagavatam, the first 6 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhakti Vedanta is all that earlier which was taught, Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, plus the next 6 cantos of Bhagavatam. That comprises the entire Bhagavatam core, book. Now all that and Chaitanya Charitamrita is what makes Bhakti Sarvabhauma course. So like this, it is something which is building on from beginning, the foundation, slowly, the Bhakti monument is very well built like that. So Prabhupada, he actually made the syllabus for each of these courses. What should be taught, how it should be taught, how the assessing should be done of the learning. All that, here it tells about essays, he tells about shloka learning, many things in his letters. So when I was in the very beginning, when I was undergoing the course sometime in 2012 or so, so that time when I read these letters, when our teacher showed, I was marveled at the vision of Srila Prabhupada, how so future looking he was, how the devotee should be trained on that. So Srila Prabhupada further says how vital is studying his books like that. Samir Prabhu, can you read this on the screen, the letter on the screen?
Yes. All of the devotees connected with this Krishna conscious movement must read all of the books that have been translated. Otherwise, after some time, they will simply eat, sleep, and fall down from their position. Thus, they will miss the opportunity to attain an eternal blissful life of transcendental bliss.
Something so fundamental that if you want to just continue practicing devotional service, reading of Srila Prabhupada books is essential. Otherwise, Prabhupada's words say, you'll simply eat, sleep, and fall down from the position of devotional service. Yeah. Please read the next one also. Samir Prabhu can read. Yeah.
Nowadays, it seems that many of the older disciples like yourself are having difficulty. If you do not set the example for the younger students and take the responsibility for instructing them in the right line, how will things go on? Try to always study our books and see our philosophy from different lights of directions. Become convinced yourself of this knowledge, and without a doubt, all your difficulties of mind will disappear forever, and you will see Krishna face to face.
So, what purpose of studying Srila Prabhupada's books is learned here? What is the benefit we gain? Please point out.
We will be able to see Krishna face to face.
We'll be able to see Krishna face to face. All the difficulties, doubts will disappear. We become convinced, and at last we can see Krishna face to face by reading these books. Prabhupada is, he's literally saying face to face. So many purposes we are all becoming aware of. The first one we saw was we ourselves can become better preachers. We can carry out that service, is it not? The second we saw how, what was that? Conviction. All our doubts will go away, is it not? And we become convinced, yes. And then the third one we saw before this was if we don't read, we may even sway away, we may even fall away from the path of devotional service. And now here we are seeing that we can see Krishna face to face by properly studying the Shastras. 1972, yes. Poonam Mataji, can you read this? You have to unmute, yeah. So, yeah.
Steadiness. Yes, as a sannyasi and GBC, your first duty is to read my books. Otherwise, how will you preach? In order to remain steadily fixed in Krishna consciousness, there must be a sound philosophical understanding. Otherwise, it will become only sentiment. Whenever you find the time, please read my books.
Whenever you find time, please read my books. There are some letters of Prabhupada where he says how much time one should read the books also. He would say, and there are some letters where he says, read at least 2 hours in it. Read. Whenever you get time, read my books. Like that. Basically, that is what makes our devotional service steady. So one should read very regularly. One should read appropriate or at least an optimum amount of time. And this course will help us gain that appreciation for Srila Prabhupada's books. Okay. So by reading Prabhupada's books, we become steady in our devotional service. That's the goal here shown. Can you read this also, Poonam Mataji?
Read and apply.
Yeah.
Yes, reading my books will help you. Philosophy must be there. But if you do not also apply the philosophy by participating in all temple affairs, like rising early, attending Mangal Aarti, performing devotional service, then simply learning the philosophy will have no effect.
So, reading will surely give a lot of, first of all, information. It gives a lot of inspiration when learned in a proper attitude. Right? So the teachers will help us reach that inspiration, reach that mood of the instructions given, all that, the mission of Srila Prabhupada. And parallelly, we also have to apply this philosophy in our regular devotional activities, like rising early, our temple programs, the services, the satsangs, all that. So the learning should have the effect on our regular devotional activities, the quality of devotional activities, and the depth of devotional activities should reflect that. So Prabhupada is telling, read and then apply. Do not just become a scholar, but be a practitioner of what we learn. That is stressed here. And while reading, Prabhupada also is mentioning here We should read from varieties of angles, you know. So Prabhupada many times he said this: do not be what he would say, be a blind follower. Yeah, blind follower. He says in one of the Bhagavad Gita purports, absurd inquiry and blind following both are condemned. you know Blind following. So he would encourage his followers, his students, to ask questions, reflect on some philosophical principle, how it is important, why it is important, how it should be applied, all that. So just like we have a gem or a very nice jewel, that jewel can be appreciated when seen from certain angle. But when you go around and see from a different angle, it is surely valuable. Yeah. But it reflects a different type of beauty when you see from different angles. So that valuable jewel can be appreciated when it is seen from different angles. Like that, the philosophy, the words of Lord Krishna, given by our acharyas, their purports, they can be appreciated when discussed in the association of devotees from varieties of angles. Prabhupada is telling here that they should read our books very diligently, very scrutinizingly, at least see 1 or 2 hours daily, and try to understand the subject from varieties of angles. So in this course, there will be a lot of such places of discussion. In fact, to encourage that, even student will be given an essay for writing. They can express their understanding. There could be a lot of question answers, some presentations, many like that. So that we all on our own understanding come to those conclusions like that. So Prabhupada is stressing it here. So Puna Mataji, can you read this also?
Read and follow. In my books, the philosophy of Krishna consciousness is explained fully. So if there is anything you do not understand, then you simply have to read again and again. By reading daily, the knowledge will be revealed to you, and by this process, your spiritual life will develop. You may please me the most by reading my books and following the instructions therein.
Prabhupada is telling here, please, you can please me by reading my books repeatedly and following the instructions. Prabhupada told this many times. Whatever I wanted to say, I have told in my books. If you want to know me, read my books. If you want to know what's my desire, what's my mood or mission, read my books. So the best of Srila Prabhupada, in the sense that what he wanted, how he wanted the future to carry on, what are those vital principles which we should never miss out, they all can be found in his books. So books are the basis, we say, is it not? Books are the basis. So one should read it again and again. So in this course, maybe we may read this, go through it once, at least to have a understanding of the flow of that particular literature and understand the essential lessons there. But it should not end after that course. It should actually continue. Okay, now I have learned. Okay, now again, when you go again to read, you will develop much more deeper insights. That's the way again and again one reads. Just see the simple thing I was reflecting on. And we all know that Lord Krishna taught Arjuna those instructions called Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield. Yes, he heard it there first time, right, from the mouth of Lord Krishna. Same Arjuna, he remembers these instructions at a little later time. And if you know when? In Srimad Bhagavatam, this instance comes. Any of you know? Okay, Lekha Mataji, yes.
First can.
Prabhuji, I think it is 2 times. First time when Yudhishthir Maharaj was crying after the war, that he killed so many people because of his own desire for royal pleasure. He was feeling like that. So he was morose, but Arjun could also have been morose, but he remembered what Krishna has taught, maybe. And the second time when Krishna disappeared.
So the second one, in fact, is more explained, very well explained in Bhagavatam. I'm not sure about the first one. So the second one, you see, very interesting. He remembers when he comes back to Hastinapur, having the news that Krishna has left the planet, and Yudhishthira is there, Bhima is there, all of them. And now Arjuna is thinking, oh, what was the mercy of Lord Krishna? How he allowed me to have his company, what all we did together, and that wonderful episode of he giving me those divine instructions, he's remembering. And that time, till then he had great pain of separation. And after hearing those instructions, remembering those earlier learned instructions, he got so much solace. In fact, he retires after that time. After that they go back to garden. You see, so he remembering. The great devotees are remembering those instructions again and again. Is it not? So it is never like an academic mundane knowledge which, when learned once, you're done. No, not like that. It is having a profound effect. Every time one reads the same book, it will have a deeper and deeper effect. The learning will be more deeper like that. So there is some more nice quotes here. I request Krishna Bandhu Mataji, can you read this?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
A devotee in Mayapura once got up to leave in the middle of one of Prabhupada's lectures. Where is he going? Prabhupada asked. He has some work to do, and a devotee answered. This drew fire from Prabhupada. What work? Nonsense. Unless you hear, what work can you do? It will just be karma unless you hear. We cannot just read the books and do nothing for the spiritual master, but neither can we serve without the knowledge gained by reading the books. As Prabhupada states in the letter quoted above, we must both read the books and follow the instructions. This is the combination that pleases the spiritual master the most.
So, one of the very senior disciples of Srila Prabhupada, His Holiness Satsvarup Das Goswami Maharaj, he has written a book called Appreciating Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, that's the title of the book. Very nice book. If you ever, any of you find it in your nearest ISKCON gift shop, please have it. It's a very nice book. And there he remembers this instance. There is one nice chapter on appreciating like this, appreciating Prabhupada's lectures, appreciating Prabhupada's contribution to Parampara. Like that, very nicely he has compiled them. I remember His Grace Radhesham Prabhupada advocating this book so many times. Please read this book. So Prabhupada is saying here, without knowledge, when we render service, especially in conditioned stage, it will have an effect like karma. We may be doing because of our material attachments. Yeah, I'm doing this service, but we may not understand why we are doing, for whose purpose we are doing. How should be my attitude? So all this has to be very much kept intact. Service rendered with service attitude pleases Krishna. And that service attitude comes by proper understanding of the philosophy. Is it not? So that service attitude is very important, and that is what pleases Krishna. In our activities, we may be successful or not successful, but if we have the right attitude to please Krishna, then that will be greatly beneficial. So Prabhupada is telling, Maharaj is telling here, read books and follow instructions. That is the combination that pleases the spiritual master. So there are so many quotes like this. I will not take out time to read all of them. Maybe another time we will send a compilation of them. But one last thing I would like to say here is there is one very nice lecture in 2005 I heard these lectures repeatedly earlier by His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj. He is telling this at the time of Bhakti Shastri course completion, for certain set of devotees. There he says, why, what should be the mood of the Bhakti Yoga, especially Srila Prabhupada's follower in studying Shastras. We are not here trying to become scholars or, to prove our power of remembrance or, all that kind of material accolades. No. So what is the mood when we are learning these Shastras? What should be our mood? What should be our desire? What should we look to cultivate while studying these books? So he has very nicely explained. It's just an hour-long lecture. Maybe I'll try to share the transcript to our coordinator Prabhu. He will post it on the group also. But the best would be if you can hear it in the words of Maharaj directly. So please take out time whenever possible and hear this lecture. Many things are told. What is the importance of transcendental knowledge? And one very interesting section I remember is that why do we need to write exams? We wrote exams in our schools, colleges for mundane material education. Why we have to make exams for spiritual education? Is Krishna not pleased just by our sincere desire in attending the satsangs, in attending the classes? Why do we need to write exams? Why do we need to memorize the shlokas? That's one of the assessment. Why do we need to write long essays? All these questions Maharaj himself answers. One answer I remember is that if you don't have assessments, just like a student going to school, if he doesn't have exams, he will be most happy, right? He will be very happy. But is there any school or educational setup where there are no exams or tests? No, because that will be counterproductive, is it not? Keeping such, how do we say, keeping such pressure, keeping such such kind of assessments brings a seriousness in study. Maharaj says this. Without that such kind of tests, one will not seriously attempt to learn the philosophy, remember the philosophy, reflect on the philosophy. Is it not? So for one should take in that spirit. We may score whatever possible. It's not that we write exams and we want to show that I came first. No, that's not the intent. In fact, in this course, there is nothing called first, second, third. Because what is just is, okay, you have crossed this threshold. That's fine. That's the way in which assessments are done. But the point is, one should study the scriptures with that seriousness. Not a very casual, but a serious. So I really appreciate all of your interest to serious study of Srila Prabhupada's books. Okay, so as I told, whenever you get time, please mark this title of lecture and hear this. Okay, so just an hour-long lecture. It will not take much time. So far what we saw was how Srila Prabhupada instituted this course. Way back in 1968-69, he started talking about it, and he was telling that we should hold exams. And there are some letters where Prabhupada says, I am sending the question paper for this particular test. He is making question papers. Can you imagine? And then he is telling, I will evaluate. There are some question letters like that. So with all these details, we understand that how serious was Srila Prabhupada with these courses. We saw also the intention or the benefits of this course in so many ways. We just now saw how it helps in preaching, in personal conviction, in staying steady in bhakti. Is it not? All this we saw. So now we are seeing traditionally when Shastras are studied, they are studied with a certain focus. What is that focus? What is it that a reader of Shastra looks forward while studying Shastras? When I say Shastras, it surely means Bhakti Shastras. Please do not say this as some attempt of Jnana or like that. No. In Bhakti, we know that Jnana Karamadi Anavrita. Our Bhakti should be free from the pursuit of material fruits, that is Karma Marga, and should also be free from any desire for liberation, which is Jnana Marga. So whatever knowledge we learn in the path of Bhakti, it is Bhakti. It is not Jnana. So when we study Bhakti Shastras, like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, what we should look forward in studying them. So Prabhupada says from here, the aims of Bhakti Shastri or study of Shastra. Like so, I request Avinash Prabhu, can you please read this on the screen?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Purpose of Shastric study, aims of Bhakti Shastri. After the student studies the Vedas under the master for some time, at least from age 5 to 20, he may become a man of perfect character. Study of the Vedas is not meant for the recreation of armchair speculators, but for the formation of character. Bhagavad Gita 8.28 purport. Hare Krishna.
One of the last purports of 8th chapter. So he is saying the study of Bhakti Shastras is meant to bring a transformation in our character, not just increase our information base, but a transformation in our character. It is Srila Prabhupada who made this statement in Srimad. It comes in Bhagavad Gita only. Philosophy without purpose is hypocrisy. Yeah, hypocrisy. Yes.
Religion without philosophy and philosophy without religion.
Yeah, that statement is there. Philosophy without practice is hypocrisy. In one of the purports of Hiranyakashipu section, Hiranyakashipu is quoting very nice philosophy. He was a very great scholar, like Ravana also was a great scholar, you may know. Great demons were scholars actually. But Prabhupada says, philosophy without practice. They were not practicing, they were using the philosophy for their purpose. Like Hiranyakashipu told Vedic philosophy to console his mother because his brother had died. Ravana also told his philosophy for some material purposes. They were all great philosophers. But such philosophy which is spoken without practice is hypocrisy. So Prabhupada very much stressed on this, that whatever we learn, we should follow, we should apply. Those values should become part of our character, personality. That's called transformation of character. So in a broader world, whenever one studies any branch of knowledge, they say these three terminologies. They're called knowledge, skill, and value. Like, say, suppose I am learning, say, karate. I'm not learning, by the way. But say, suppose I go to learn karate. So first of all, I need to have some theoretical knowledge about karate. First, the karate master or the teacher will tell me some theory about that. That will give me an understanding. Yeah, okay. It's an intellectual understanding about that particular martial art. Then there are some very regular course of actions one should follow. There are some movements he should do, he should daily do, he should, they are skills. Is it not? Some rigor of following. That's a skill. Basically, whatever he had learned as theory, he is applying it very, very consistently. Is applying it. And by following that, he develops a strength of mind. And he, while learning from his teacher, he had also heard about some important qualities one should develop as a karate, whatever practitioner. So those values he is regularly thinking about. And as he develops skills, he reflects on the theory or understanding his teacher had given, and those qualities also start to manifest. This three sections of knowledge, skills, and values becomes all the more visible in spiritual knowledge. We hear from our teachers, our gurus, Shiksha gurus, Diksha gurus, so many wonderful things about spiritual life. Theory in the first it is. And slowly it becomes an understanding. We understand it from all angles. If there are doubts, we resolve them, and it becomes a very nice, well-formed conviction, theoretical conviction. Then we act on it. We develop necessary abilities to apply it. That becomes application, and that is ongoing. Application is not just one time; it is day to day, all the time. We are practicing it, and because every person is essentially spiritual, so the internal qualities, good qualities, which were very dormant, they start to manifest. This is explained by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita, how the good qualities which are there in every jiva, they manifest. Shubhada, that's one of the qualities of Bhakti, Uttama Bhakti. The good qualities manifest. So, like this, we can see that when sincerely learned from the teacher, seriously learned, applied, then that qualities manifest. So these qualities are what a devotee is very interested in, because Krishna becomes very pleased by devotee with good qualities. He likes these qualities. In fact, he loves these qualities. In Bhagavad Gita, there is one chapter in which Lord Krishna is telling verse after verse after verse, this devotee having these qualities is very dear to me. This devotee, if he has this quality, he says so many qualities. Such a devotee is very dear to me. Any of you recollect which chapter I'm talking about? Bhagavad Gita.
18th chapter, in the last 50 or 56, Sri Krishna says, the devotee who preaches other devotees about this knowledge is very dear to me.
Yeah, in 18th chapter also it says, true. There is one more section where Krishna speaks this.
12th chapter. 12th chapter.
12th chapter, right. 12th chapter. 12th chapter, the last 8 shlokas of that chapter. Krishna is glorifying devotee, exhibiting such nice qualities. So, Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam, Maitra Karuna Evacha, Bhaktaste Ativa Me Priyaha, Yomad Bhakta Same Priyaha. All those verses end with that line. How such a devotee is very dear to me. I love him a lot, like that. So, we want to please Krishna ultimately in the path of Bhakti. That is what is Bhakti. What is Bhakti? Pleasing Krishna, pleasing Krishna's devotees. And Krishna himself says how a devotee with qualities is very dear to him. So, in Vedic culture, the way to develop good qualities, like we saw knowledge, skills, and values, this even in today's day, you can hear these terms even in the academic education. But in Vedic culture, this was very much there. It is told that a person can develop good qualities if he follows these 3 steps very systematically. First one is that he is submissively, respectfully hearing from a guru. That is called Shravana. Shravana. In English, Prabhupada would call it as submissive oral reception. That word is very famous in Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, very famous chapter. Submissive oral reception. So one is respecting the teacher. One understands that he has to learn. He should not be proud or arrogant. And in the mode of service, he is inquiring very, very submissively. That is Shravana. Yes, we learn from our gurus so many wonderful spiritual principles. Then the second one, Manana. Manan. What is this? This is just like a cow. Prabhupada says this example. A cow, sometimes I have seen with monkeys also. In the beginning, they gulp a lot. After some time, they take that gulped food back in their mouth and they chew it, cuddle it, nicely. And they basically derive a lot of nutrition. They get a lot of taste, and that well digests also. Is it not? So manana is a reflection. Manan karna bolte hai na. So you reflect on what is you have received from the Guru. This is not just passively sitting and reflecting. It appears like that. Maybe I have to just sit and then think, or maybe read my notes back and back. That's a part of it. But it is also by application of learning in service. So when we do service, when we apply our learning, that is also called manan. Because while rendering service, we are trying to follow what we have learned. And we see, oh, this is the benefit I get by following. Oh, this is the trouble I got. How I can resolve this challenge. Maybe I should go back and talk to my teacher. How I can nicely face this trouble. Like that. So like this, there is a cycle of Shravan, Manan, Shravan, Manan, Shravan, Manan. That means hearing, reflecting, application, hearing, reflecting, application. All this is going on continuously. In a very simple example, if we have to say suppose I want to make a halwa for Shri Radha Vrindavan. So I heard from a devotee who knows very nicely how to make halwa. He taught me all that details of what all things to use, what to take care, all that he told. So that became Shravan. Now, does this in itself will help me? So tomorrow, say I go in the morning, enter the kitchen, and I'm alone, and I have a recipe with me, and I start following it. But yet, while following, there are so many details which one should observe. How much fire should be, what amount of the quantity should be properly managed, till what time I should roast the rava, at what point I should add in the sugar or water, all that. There are so many details, is it not? So when one applies the learning, while application, he learns a lot. And then again, he learns more. Oh yeah, I should do it properly here. This went wrong, I should apply like this. So that's manan, continuous cycle of reflection and application increases one's learning like that. Then the third stage, which is like a game. Oh yes, now I understood about the halwa. Okay, this is the exact way I can hit the right taste like that. So the third step is called nididhyasana in spiritual learning. Nididhyasana means whatever he has heard from his guru, he has tried to apply repeatedly. He has tried and he has gained some understanding of it. And that kind of living has become an asset of his, has become a part of his character. It's called realization. So from then on, he always follows that teaching. That is called nididhyasana. So Shravana, hearing from teacher, Manana, contemplation and application in service, and third, nididhyasana, that is realization. So these three stages, they come originally in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, are the ways by which one develops that realization that qualities, which is what is the goal of studying Shastras. So like this, Srila Prabhupada says, this is quoted by Prabhupada only, that how one should look forward for developing realization, realized knowledge, vijnana, like that. So here is some more quote of Prabhupada where he speaks about the aim. Samir Prabhu, can you read?
Yes, Prabhu. Without aim, what is the use of practice? If you have no goal, there is example. Man without any aim is ship without any rudder. So suppose if aeroplane is going with an aim to land in some country, but if he goes on simply without any aim, then there will be disaster. So without aim, what is the use of practice? That is foolishness. Without goal, practicing is foolishness.
Foolishness. See, we should have clear goal. We should have clear aim. What is that? I should apply what I am learning in my personal devotional practices and become more pleasing to Krishna, develop good qualities, become more surrendered, pay more attention to my services so that it is pleasing to the Lord. So these are the goals. And to stay away from distractions, is it not? So these are the goals. So developing Vaishnava qualities is the goal of studying Bhakti Shastras, is it not? So one should keep that in front of oneself. So one of the very important values in this particular Bhakti Shastri course, which we learn, is to become aware, to understand, and very much appreciate what is the mood of Srila Prabhupada. See, there are so many acharyas who have come, who have taught the philosophy of bhakti, many sampradayas, is it not? In our sampradaya also, many acharyas came after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Srila Prabhupada was very special. Yes. So, what is the mood of our Srila Prabhupada? What is it that he wants us to follow? That is the mission statements. So this is one thing we very specially learn in this course, Bhakti Shastri course. In fact, one of the ways to assess is also to understand how much students have got this, the mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada. So this is one of the important values. That's why we highlighted it specifically. Of course, Vaishnava qualities in general, and one specific is to develop an appreciation for the mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada, like that. So at coming to the specifics of our course, at ISKCON Pune, of course, this course has been ongoing from the time of Srila Prabhupada. There is a very specific education ministry at the level of GBCs like that, who basically authenticate a student. Oh yes, this student has passed all the assessments, and they issue a certificate also. So it's a centralized board of examinations, and they approve some temples to conduct this course. So we are offering this course. You all know that from the the service board, Bhakti Vedanta Raja Vidyalaya. It's an initiative of ISKCON Pune. At ISKCON Pune, it has been one of the very fundamental learnings or teachings to have systematic training and education. So under this, our temple president, His Grace Radhesham Prabhu, had stressed on Srila Prabhupada's books right from very beginning. So several years back, when this service board, the department was formed, there were many senior devotees who were asked to contribute in this. His Grace Vamshi Vadan Prabhu, His Grace Kanai Krishna Prabhu, His Grace Gopal Chandra Prabhu. They are all having several specific roles here. I had the service of coordinating across the multiple batches, exam conduction and evaluation certification, like that. It's a team of devotees. Many are there. I'm not able to mention all of them. And currently there are close to 40, 45 batches actively ongoing, with each batch having 30 to 40, sometimes even more students. Some happen offline, outside Pune, in different places, online, like that. So there are multiple batches. The organization is that each batch has one primary teacher. He's like the foremost teacher of that batch. He ensures that the batch is progressing nicely, that the classes are happening regularly, the exams are happening regularly, students are moving from one book to other very smoothly, like that. Usually there are multiple teachers. It's not that there is only one teacher for the whole batch or whole course. Usually there are multiple teachers. So whoever teacher comes, they take specific unit. So in Bhakti Shastri course, there are close to 6 units. I will show that units and all. The 4 books, surely, but they are divided further into total of 6 units. So the course begins with registration, which is something you all have already gone through. You've expressed your desire, and you have registered by filling the form, paying the fees, and this orientation is part of it. The batch, course orientation, all that. That happens in registration. Then the actual teachings will start. The classes will start, mostly from the next class. I'm not sure, I think tomorrow maybe. The first unit will start. So those teachings, the teaching of the several units, 6 units total, the unit teaching is probably taking you through that specific Srila Prabhupada's book. I was telling about the units. The units are like this. Ishopanishad is 1 unit. Nectar of Instruction is 1 unit. Nectar of Devotion is 1 unit. Bhagavad Gita, very big book. 6 chapters, 6 chapters, 6 chapters. They are total 3 units. First 6 chapters, 1 unit. Middle 6, 1 unit. Last 6, 1 unit. So total of 6 units. Okay. So there is a specific sequence of taking the units. Mostly probably the first one which you all have is, I believe, Nectar of Instruction. I'm not sure, but you will be informed. Do not worry. So when any unit starts, there is specific expectations from students. The basic expectation is that one should be regular, attending regularly. There should be minimum of 75% attendance, which is necessary for assessments. And then very participative in discussions. This is also one thing which is observed in the classes. The students should have video on. There is advantage of the technology that we can sit at our convenient time and place and sit and hear. But at the same time, it can also distract us. To ensure that we are focused in our study of Srila Prabhupada's books, keep the videos on, just to be accountable to all of us, each other. So the videos should be on. Unless you are traveling, the special permission taken from the primary teacher, the video should be on. And the unit runs through certain weeks. At the end of the unit, there will be a closed book assessment. The assessments will take place, the unit assessments. So there are 3 types of assessments. The first type of assessment is a test where you come, since it's an online test, online course, you will sit at home only and do. But a question paper will be given to you for 1.5 hour duration. You have to answer those questions. What type of questions? We will see them later. That's the first type of test called a closed book assessment. The second will be an essay. Essay meaning you are given the questions, you are given certain days to complete. You write an essay. Usually 2 essays are asked for every unit. Those questions will be given very much in advance. So you have to complete those essays in certain word limit and in certain specific manner. You have to quote from these books to substantiate what you're saying from Srila Prabhupada's purports. All that will be mentioned. That's the second type of assessment. So the first one is closed book assessment. Second is open book assessment, OBAD say it. The third is shloka recitation. Srila Prabhupada wanted that there should be preachers. One of the purpose of Bhakti Shastri course is to help in the service of preaching. And a preacher should be very good in reciting or quoting the shlokas. Prabhupada told, like just like a lawyer quotes the law codes, like that a devotee should be able to quote the important shlokas which establish the philosophy, the principles of bhakti properly. So that's the third test, shloka test. Usually what shlokas have to be memorized will be shown, will be told. As a whole, in the whole course of Bhakti Shastri, there are a total of 45 shlokas, not much. And each unit has some specific number of shlokas. And every unit, when that completes, the shlokas which come in that unit, say sometimes 4, like in Nectar of Instruction, 4 shlokas have to be memorized. In Ishopanishad, 2 have to be memorized. In Nectar of Devotion, 4 have to be memorized. In Bhagavad Gita, there are many shlokas. So like this, at the end of that unit, the shlokas coming that unit will be tested, that you know it properly or not. So you will be told first words of that shloka. You have to complete that shloka in Sanskrit and tell the translation in your own words or verbatim from Srila Prabhupada's translation. So that completes the shloka test. So at the end of the unit, these 3 assessments happen. The dates will be informed. So all come together and complete those assessments. And then the next unit starts. So next unit will not start without going through the assessments like that. So this goes for every unit. That means 6 units total. It takes so much of time. And at the end of all these assessments, there is certification which happens. You will receive a certificate of completion from the Central Board of Exam. So like this, there are so many wonderful ways we can enjoy learning. It is not a mundane way of learning wherein one crams and one gets very terribly disappointed like that. No, we are here to learn and become better servants. Servants, that becoming a servant is ultimately the goal of devotional service. So how to become better servant, that is what is this study of whole Srila Prabhupada's books here. So the assessment, Srila Prabhupada talks, in fact, how much should be grading. This is also told by the Central Board of Exams. A lot of weightage is given on essays. How is the understanding of the thing? And some closed book assessment, which is memory test, and shloka recitation, that's also memory test, and class participation. How is the attendance? How is the attitude of the student? Punctuality, all that is examined, all this. So this all together make up the course grades. That's what we are showing here. So the pass marks are also put there. And since all of us, all of the devotees have been regularly attending satsangs and many things, it should not be difficult. Okay. So usually there is no need to take anxiety about getting passed. I'm again saying, try to approach the course with the intent of learning, with the intent of developing Vaishnava qualities, becoming better devotees like that. You will really appreciate the whole course in that sense. So Srila Prabhupada says about assessments something. So I'm showing it up here. Poonam Mataji, can you read this?
Yes, Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Prabhupada always encouraged devotees to write. Realization means you should write, every one of you. What is your realization? You write your realization, what you have realized about Krishna. That is required. It is not passive. Always you should be active. Whenever you find time, write. Never mind 2 lines, 4 lines, but you write your realizations. Shravanam Kirtanam, writing or offering prayers, glories. This is one of the functions of a Vaishnava.
So Prabhupada is appreciating that, he's encouraging that devotees should write what they have learned. You know, the mood of assessments is this only. When we hear, we learn to some extent. When we write what we have learned, we in fact learn to much higher extent. In fact, later when you speak what you have learned, what you have reflected on, then you learn to much higher extent. You know, it's told in the regular education philosophy also, how to make a person learn more, not just by making him passively hear, but to make him speak, to make him write. So Srila Prabhupada wanted that all of the devotees should reflect on their learning by writing what they have learned. Right? That is called realization. He's saying realization means one should write. So this is the mode of assessments, that it should help deepen our understanding of the teachings of our parampara, like that. So like this, I really commend all of your interest and taking out time for being a learner in this course. Many of the devotees who will come to teach you are experienced. They have taught several batches, and any questions, any doubts you have, feel free to ask. There is nothing to be afraid about or something like that. Feel free to ask. Discussions are very much encouraged, and if something is still not understood, you can even write to BVRV, Bhaktivedanta Raja Vidyalaya. We will also post the email IDs on which you can write if you have any confusions, if you're not satisfied with something like that. But nonetheless, the primary teacher would be very open to understand your difficulties, challenges. If there are some specific challenges pertaining to your situation, you need some exemption, something like that, you should feel free to discuss with your teacher. That's what we are saying here. So as a last part of my today's presentation, I want to show all of you the handbook, the course handbook. Okay, before that, Poonam Mataji, you want to say something? I see a hand raised.
Oh, I raised hand, Prabhuji, before. When you mentioned a book, book's name, I missed that title of the book's name. Book about Srila Prabhupada.
The name of the book is Prabhupada Appreciation.
Okay.
Yeah, that is written by His Holiness Satswarup Das Goswami Maharaj. You will most probably find it in gift shop, bookshop.
Sure.
It's a nice white colored book, small book, nice book. Yeah. I wanted to show the handbook. So while going through this course, which will very soon start for all of you, you need to have your personal copy of those 4 books. First essential thing. Second thing is you will be given this handbook. So all of us here are, this is an English batch. So we are here. 1 minute. Yeah. Just yes. So all of you are seeing this PDF. Yeah. It's called Student's Handbook, guidebook for the course. So you have your personal copy of Srila Prabhupada's particular book, Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion, Ishopanishad, Bhagavad Gita. These 4 books you should have. And the next thing is you should have this handbook. So this handbook is your guide for the course. What does it have? We'll just glance through it. Okay. We can give it to you hard copy, that is printed copy, or soft copy. It will be explained on the WhatsApp group. Who needs what, you can give your interest and they will arrange it. So there are some interesting quotes given. Yeah. something about the Bhaktivedanta Raja Vidyalaya, what is the mood of the organization, all that. Yeah, let's come to the contents. Okay, so how the course is structured is the first part, and then the second part is what are the norms while writing test, the closed book assessments online. So online tests, how do we attend it? What are the norms? That is also explained. The policies of attendance, the assessments, and plagiarism. That means copying. Clear no. Spiritual practice and dishonesty cannot go together. So that's a very strict action if found. So as I already told, it is not a mundane effort wherein we are trying to come first or, no. In fact, there is no such grading like that. What is told is how you are excelling, how you can become better, how you can answer it well. That will be given as a comment, but clear no for plagiarism. And the specific books, the questions are also shown. Okay, let me cover the first content. So if you see, the units are told. Bhagavad Gita units, 3 units, nectar of devotion, Ishopanishad, nectar of instruction. Then the course flow, I already explained this. So you need to have the handbook, you need to have the personal copies. You can have several guidebooks. There are many guidebooks. For Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada's disciple, His Grace Bhurijan Prabhu, has written a very nice guidebook, one of the very standard guidebooks, Surrender Unto Me. For Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Nectar of Devotion, there is also a guidebook called Waves of Devotion. They're very nice books published from Govardhan Eco Village. His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu, Subodhini series. They're also very nice. So the specific teacher will come and also show which guidebooks he is showing from all that. Okay, so that also you can have. So there is a brief about assessments. Okay, some more detail about the assessment here. So the closed book assessment is done, means it's questions which are given and student has to answer at that moment within 1.5 hour time. Okay, and the questions which will be asked in that closed book assessment are from pre-informed set of questions. There is a group of questions, it's called question bank, which will be given to you. It's there in the handbook itself. I will show it soon. And from that only, close to 80 to 90% of questions will be picked. So in that sense, you don't need to really, break your head to remember everything in that unit. Just address those questions, get the answers exactly in Prabhupada's words, mark them and keep them ready. And from that only, you will easily get more than 80 to 90% of questions. There could be some which may require deeper study, but most of it will come. Okay, it's usually 50 marks question paper, 1.5 hour duration. It happens at the end of unit. Now coming to the open book assessment, there are 2 questions or 2 essays which will be asked. At the end of unit, you should write it. You can even type it. That's okay. Soft copy or written. That's fine. But the time, the word limit is very clear here. It should not be very long. It should not be, very brief or like that. There should be good explanation for it, and usually it should be presented properly. You should read the question and understand what is being asked. Do not tell what is not really expected in great amounts. Just be focused on what is asked and elaborate on that. That's fine. So it should be focused, it should be concise, it should be well presented, and it should be well substantiated. Usually the question itself will be there. I will show you the questions now, 1, 2 questions for example. You should give good references. This particular principle is from Srila Prabhupada's purport, this particular verse, number, purport, all that, or lecture of this particular words given in this year, like that. So you should substantiate, give good references for it. So like this, you make your open book essay, 2 questions, 2 essays per unit, and complete it and submit it. Your batch coordinator he will collect it. I will talk about batch coordinator, who will be all that. And shloka memorization, I was telling about it. The whole shlokas, which should be memorized for that unit, will be given in the handbook much before. So you keep seeing as the course is happening, have that memorization as your personal practice. And it will easily be done at the assessment time. Okay. So like this total of 45 shlokas, I was telling, right? If you add all this, it comes to close to 45 shlokas are there. So like this, how to write assessments, what is that, all that is explained here. Now coming to online closed book test, as I was telling, okay, let me tell it in brief. This whole thing you can read it at your place and time. One should keep 2 video capturing devices, 2 phones, in 2 angles, and keep the videos on. And there are specific rules how you have to scan the answers, and specifically I think in a PDF format, and send back the answer sheets within 15 minutes of end of exam. All the details are there. Okay, so you can read this norms also, how to write the tests online. So attendance policies are there here. Minimum 75% attendance is the basic expectation that should be met. If not met, then they will not be allowed to write tests. If there are some reasons of emergency, it should be informed to primary teacher. If you have any concern, feel free to talk to him. He will understand your situation. If an exemption or if any concession has to be given, he will consider. He's already educated about that. And try to manage your schedule, your weekend time, keeping this time prominent, as high priority. Saturday, Sunday, 11 to 1, Bhakti Shastri. Mark this. Okay. So if we do 2 days in a week, total of 4 hours, then it usually takes close to 1 or 1.5 years in which you will complete this course. Otherwise, it takes 3 years also. So just for this duration, be focused on this and try to complete it. And of course, during festivals or during Kartik Yatras and all, then the classes will not be there. If any such important event is there, say Janmashtami is approaching, or Kartik Yatra is coming, or if many students are not available for specific reason, then the teacher will understand it and he will give a common holiday on that. That's understandable. So attendance criteria is there. Then assessment policies, how one should see the exams, all that. You can read it. There's this thing about it. Open book assessment, understanding, shloka test, all this. Now, the clear rules of if found guilty of copying, then what actions will be taken? We have presented it, what is given by the Central ISKCON board. That's presented exactly. So even copying in the essays also can be found. Please, try to honestly and so far assessments. Now at this point, I want to show under each unit, there in this particular handbook, there are questions given. Okay, so example, we'll see this first unit of Ishopanishad. Okay, there is a brief of the whole structure of the book. There is some overview given. This all teacher will explain. I'll not take there. What I wanted to show is there is a section called analogies. Okay, Srila Prabhupada uses analogies a lot to explain a principle. So, like here, one example. Shruti, Vedic scripture, is compared to a mother. Very famous analogy. So Prabhupada is using it to drive home some principle. So in the closed book assessments, analogies are an important part. So you'll be asked, Shrutis and mother. explain this knowledge. So you have to explain that knowledge. What is Shruti is giving? How is it similar to mother? So like that, you have to explain that principle. What is common, all that. So analogies are important. That's why it is separately captured. In mantra one, some analogies are coming like that. So you have to learn these analogies. It's an important part of closed book test. Then there is a section here called closed book short answer questions. All of you are noticing this? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yeah, closed book short answer questions. So in your closed book test, the questions will be asked majorly from this part. It's like a question bank. Okay. So you have to basically find answers for these questions and keep yourself well aware of these answers. That's all you need to do. Okay. So this is short answer questions. This is what will be asked in the closed book test, 80 to 90%. So if you learn these many questions, all this completes your closed book preparation. See, it's very easy. Open book assessment. So there are 2 essays for every unit. So Ishopanishad's 2 questions are here. See, the first essay is this. You have to explain certain principle, how you apply in your own life, in society, broader society, in ISKCON specifically. You have to explain. That's an essay. Write it 600 or 800 words length, long essay, like that. And while explaining, you can see this is a practical ways application. This is a personal application. So answers of open book are very application oriented. So that's why you are given time to delve on it, think about it. You can even ask teacher who is teaching you to explain that at a more application level. He will do that. Surely he does that. He will also help more on that. So this is assessments. Okay. So closed book assessments, open book assessments. Closed book questions are already given. Many of them from that group only, most of the questions will come. Open book questions are already declared like that. So similarly, nectar of devotion, you see. Here also there are analogies. See, same section. Analogies are coming. And then there are closed book short answer questions. Same way. And there is open book questions for this book also at the end. Yeah, open book assessment questions, 2 questions. Right. Is this clear so far? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Is it clear
Yes,
so
Prabhuji.
far?
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
So this is what I had to explain about the course in general and some specifics about the norms of the course and assessments. So if there are any comments or questions, we can discuss for some time and we'll log off after that. Yes, Balraj Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I had a question basically on the assessment part of it. So you mentioned certain rules that are there for assessment for closed book ones, the online thing. Got to put on the camera. Is there a provision that we can come to VBRV and answer it? Is there an offline provision to give the examination for the online batch? Is what my question.
It can be done. The primary teacher will, you have to express that. Sometimes what happens is, because of some reasons, the student may choose online question, online test. So you have to inform so that they keep the hard copy paper ready and it could be arranged. Okay, you can express that to the teacher. Those who live very close to temple can easily walk in and write. That's the best way. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Any question?
Prabhuji, I had the same question as already asked. Prabhuji.
Wonderful. Okay, you can come into temple, express that you would like to write exam in person, you can do it. Yeah, Lekha Mataji.
Prabhuji, I have a request. Like there are, I don't know, there are 12 participants in the meeting. So if like 50% of them also agree, can it be offline also and online also, like a hybrid meeting? Because then offline there is more attention in class.
Actually, there are some more students. What had happened is we had launched the batch a little early, and some students had some timing conflict. So there are going to be more students joining this group from the next class, surely. So the close to around 30 students or more than that are there. That's the first. Second thing, maybe you are proposing for some who would like to attend the classes in person. Is it like that? And someone online?
Yeah, basically I want to attend in person. So because you can take in laptop also, online also, like it can be both the ways. Like laptop can also be on, and we can sit in the audience also, so that
Yeah.
there is more attention. I feel.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and it was attempted earlier, but there was a difficulty that the teacher was able to either focus on those on the screen or those in front. You know, it's very difficult to have both attention, and it requires little more preparation, I believe. Maybe I will put this word across to the primary teacher. The primary teacher for all of you is His Grace Arjuneshwar Prabhu. I will ask him to log in the next time and address the specific concerns you have. So he will take a call. Okay, what could be possible if there is a way to have students in front so that a better discussion can happen like that. I will convey this. Okay. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, but majorly this is an online batch. Because there are students who are far from temples who can attend online only. Yeah, Ashish Tiwari Prabhu, yes, you have a question?
No. So two questions. So first, are we going to receive these materials which being shared in the sessions and the recordings? If we miss some session, suppose everybody is available, but unfortunately I was not available, or somebody is not available.
Yes.
Okay.
So the recordings will be done. Means every class will be recorded, and you can hear those. Sometimes one may want to hear the same class again, for a better understanding or something he missed out or something. So one can always go to the recordings, and that will be shared by the teacher and the WhatsApp group. There will be a common sharing space, all that. And suppose for some reason someone was absent, he could not make it for class, he would like to hear the recording, he can hear. That's not a problem. Okay. Recordings will be managed, and the materials which usually the teacher takes help of while teaching, that also will be shared. Okay. Prajapati, you had a second question?
That was all, Prabhu.
That was all. Okay. Prajapati Gopinath Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam. This is my question regarding offline, Prabhu. I am interested in full offline. If I am in Pune, I will attend all classes offline.
See what happens. Actually, we wanted to do offline. In fact, that's the best way the spiritual education can be done. Wherein we can have more satsanga. It should be online. Is something which was a need of that particular time, COVID time, and somehow there is a lot of education happening through many students quite far from Pune. They request this education. So His Grace Radhesham Prabhu had advised to have online classes. So what happens is that if we have a hybrid model, and if we have it as an optional model, sometimes there are so many in offline, sometimes there are hardly, and all are choosing online. So then it becomes, there is some preparation which needs to be done, setup and all that. Secondly, it's difficult for the teacher also to focus for both. That's what I was explaining that Mataji in the other question. So that is why this batch is primarily online batch. I again say this, but I will forward this request of students wanting to attend offline to the teacher. He will take that call. If it can be, he can accommodate. Certain batches are happening like that. It's not an impossibility. I will convey this, and he will take that decision. Okay.
Prabhu, I am in contact with BVRV from past 8 months, but there is no offline session. All are becoming online only.
All are
So
online.
finally, I came from offline to online. That's my issue. I am waiting. I don't want to join Mayapur, some other institutes. I am in Pune. I thought of study in Pune.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
that's.
yes. I'll convey this, Prabhu. I'll convey this that
Thank
some
you.
students are wanting.
Hare
To,
Krishna, Prabhuji.
yeah. Yes.
The same thing I wanted to let know. Second, Vrajpati Prabhuji. Offline
Yeah.
is an option.
Offline as well.
Yes,
Very
Raj.
strong. Yes. Okay, I will convey this. I'll take a strong look at it. Discuss with the teachers also. Okay. Any other last comment or question? Okay, fine. So tomorrow, I believe there will be first class. There will be proper communication on WhatsApp confirmation on this. So please follow that. And there will be some polls which will be taken about this offline, online, all that. Please share your what's your most possible effective learning method. That would be great. So we will end it here, the orientation. I'm very thankful to all of you to take to this serious study of Srila Prabhupada's books. And we are trying to make this the best possible learning experience. But feel free to express your concerns or difficulties or any comments or suggestions at the ISKCON Pune's Bhaktivedanta Raja Vidyalaya office. Anytime you can walk in and share that. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.